Greetings and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about the narcissist dark spell. You know, for me, the thing that always pops out about the narcissist, not just the one I dealt with in a prolonged way, but really every single one of them that I've dealt with in any capacity, particularly in a romantic sense. The thing that stood out to me above everything else is just that indescribable, toxic venom poisoned feeling that you get when you're dealing with these people. That I'm telling you, and many of you understand, is unlike anything else you could possibly imagine. I mean, all of us go through our lives. We deal with all kind of people, from school to work to extracurriculars to family to people you meet at social events, maybe church, whatever you're a part of. We deal with so many people, and we develop friendships and sometimes relationships, and we get to know a lot of folks throughout the course of our lives. And absolutely none of them make you feel anything like a narcissist does. So, in clinical terms or in the psychological world, people like to call the thing that develops between abused people, the victim, and their tormentor, the trauma bond. And I understand why, because in a sense, it is induced by the trauma that they put you through. You develop this bond to them because of every toxic, venomous thing that they do. But it's way deeper than that. We know that this rises to a level that is nothing short of spiritual itself because the myriad ways. It's not just that it screws with your brain and rewires things, which it does. It's not just though that it does that. It gives you these feelings that cannot be described by anything else. What it really is, guys, at the end of the day, is a spell. The narcissist puts you in a spell or a spiritual stupor, if you'd rather. A channel that I do like is called Angel Haven Ministry. And she doesn't put a lot of things out, but it's really good when she does. And she calls the trauma bond the spell from hell. And she's on point. That's exactly what it is. So we know narcissism is a spiritual disorder. This whole thing operates in a way with unseen powers that we don't see from the other realm, the heavenly realm. I'm not getting way down that trail, but this is a battle that is not just flesh and blood. It's not just a mental psychological battle. This is a battle with nothing short of demonic entities that come and just try to destroy you. Not all spells. I think when we think of spells, we think of somebody like under this enchanted tree on a moonlit night. And they're using enchanted crystals and they're casting spells out of some book. That is not that is not primarily how most spells are cast. The spell is cast by the behavior and the attachment of somebody who's dark in your life and the things they do to you. That is how spells are largely cast upon people. They put you in delusion, they put you in a stupor because they themselves are dark. So let me explain today how the narcissist casts this spell on you and what it feels like, the best that I can. Because it's virtually indescribable, as you guys know. If you've been through it, and let me say this at the forefront, okay? I have talked to many people who are curious about narcissism and they're wondering, was my ex a narcissist? Was the person I was with, were they? The one litmus test, if I could just give you one thing, if you were if you were trauma bonded and you were in that spell that I'm going to describe, it was a narcissist. If you didn't feel that, if you didn't feel what I'm going to describe, it was not a narcissist. Case closed, period, no questions asked. If you weren't under the spell, then it wasn't a narcissist. So here's basically what they do. In brief, they put you in an endless, wishy washy pattern of how you deal with them. We know that there's a stage. I described this well, I think adequately at least, in the last video. I talked about the stages But let me just briefly recap. They will come in and they will love bomb you in whatever case that is. It doesn't have to be sexual, it can be whatever it is you're interested in. They are going to form fit themselves around that. And they're going to pretend to be the end all be all to you in whatever capacity so that you get hooked. And the key to this is, and I thought about this a lot deeper recently, their whole point at first, however they do it, is to get you so revved up on them at first, so used to the attention, and it's just overflowing, that what they can do later on is start to pull that back very intentionally. And I'll give you an example. One of them that I met would send pictures, various things, somewhat flirtatious early on when she didn't know what I was into, but she'd send pictures of herself and like going to do normal things, having coffee in the morning, what sweatshirt she's wearing. And she'd get me used to seeing these pictures. It was like kind of, I thought, kind of endearing. Like, hey, you're having your morning coffee. There's your cup. I get to see all the cups she has, the sweatshirts. It's a beautiful fall morning. And I thought it was nice. And they send these to you. Boom, 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 boom. And you get used to it. And then what happens? Slowly, you get less and less of those pictures. And you're thinking, where'd they go? Like, why aren't you? And so, like, you send a picture of yourself, the shirt you're wearing and your coffee cup, and nothing. They did that only to get you used to it, used to the affection, just so they could pull away. Because they know if you get used to it, they have that power. That's what they do in the love bomb. They get you so revved up and so used to their good behavior and their attention that everything after that just falls off the cliff and leaves you wanting and like, I gotta get, I want, I want that again. You were so good and attentive and like, and then that's when they know they have you. When you get used to that and you start to miss that when they pull away, that's the deval. That's where it starts because they know that they got you hooked in some capacity and you're pining for them and you want more of them. And that's why we say, guys, anybody who comes on really, really strongly at first, you got to be terrified of. And I'm not saying that it also, a relationship needs to move at just a snail's pace where you just barely talk for months and just barely get something moving. That's a bad sign too, because it's probably somebody who can't form a relationship or they've got other things going on. It's got to be some happy medium, not lightning fast, not snail's pace, but beware of the lightning fast more than anything. Because when that flame burns that hot, it's going to burn out really quickly. So they get you in that deval now, where not only are you not getting what you were getting, now you're getting in its place a little bit of silence, a little bit of mistreatment, a little bit of cruel cutting remarks, a little bit of sarcasm at your expense. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, you don't even know how to do this. Oh, you don't even know how to do this. And that's what you'll start to get it replaced with. And while you're wanting all those things they got you used to, you have that pulling on you. Then you get the added element of now the criticism and the distance and the coldness and the space. And so you're getting a double whammy. You're not getting what you used to get, and you are getting bad things you don't want to get. And that cycle then goes like this, where they just keep kind of giving you little pieces of what you wanted, and then a lot of abuse. And a little piece, hey, there's another one of those pictures out of nowhere, coffee cup and shirt. Hey, I haven't seen one of those in a month. That's kind of nice. Then silence the rest of the day. This is what they do. It's just, guys, with a narcissist, it's just games on top of games on top of games. It's games out the yin yang. It really is. What can I do to get in this person's head? How can I get them pining for me? What am I going to do? That is their entire operating procedure. That's how they do everything. And then that is the process, though, guys, that wishy-washy. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't experience this, you weren't with a narcissist. I'm just going to clue you in. If you didn't feel like you were in this high-low, wishy-washy state where your head starts to become, very woozy, very disoriented. If you were not slipping into confusion, you weren't with a narcissist. I promise you that. Normal, healthy people, of which there's like three of now today, they don't make you feel that way. The narcissist, though, does. Because you get in that pattern of like, I don't know what to expect day to day. Am I going to get the good person, the bad person? Am I going to get a nice picture? Am I going to get silent treatment? When are we going to talk again? And of course, throughout that whole process, they're doing a whole bunch of stuff from the playbook. They're triangulating you, bringing up people they went on dates with of the past, acting flirtatious, just with other people. This is this cycle, guys. It's unparalleled. It's not like anything else out there. You're not going to find anything like the spell they put you under. And then, of course, add on top of that, so you're in that wishy-washy, the degrading of your character. They take what is a good person and they slowly chip away at you until you do become insecure and you are worried about what they're doing and you do start to doubt yourself. Maybe this is the best I can do. Maybe I really can't do any better than this person. This is just how relationships go, and the narcissist is great at convincing you. Drop a comment if you heard this one. Well, I know relationships are hard. They're up and down. You're going to have a lot of struggles in relationships. They like to pepper that in there so that your expectation is that it's bad. It's wishy-washy. And you start to just think actually to yourself, well, shoot, maybe relationships are just about a struggle all the time. And you're going to have some good times and you're going to have the really bad times. And it's just going to be this constant barrage of, I don't know what to expect. I guess that's just how relationships work. They convince you of that. That is by design, so that you will tolerate what they're doing to you. And that slowly but surely just plays on your mind, and you get more in that dazed state of being where you're like, oh, it's a fog. That's why they also call it the narcissistic fog. It's not the same thing as the spell, but that's just to speak to the mindset that you have with these people. You are not operating in your right frame of mind when you're with a narcissist. If you're with somebody that you operate in your right frame of mind, not a narcissist. Might be a jerk. It's not a narcissist. So the degrading of your character, you become insecure, worried about what they're doing, and, am I good enough? And maybe I can't get somebody else in, which is nonsense. Think about yourself. Is that reasonable? Is that true that you can't go get anybody else? It's not true. Guaranteed, 100%. Many of you watching this could go out and be with somebody right now if they wanted to be. But it's not about that. It's about the right person. But they convinced you there is no right person. More to the point, they are the right person. Even though they're abusive and they're so manipulative and disgusting. So yeah, the whole time they're degrading your character, further and further you slip into this. And then there's that constant feeling. I'm telling you what, this is a huge part of what it is. They know exactly what they're doing when they do this, and it is devastating. It's as devastating as anything else, maybe more so. They develop in you this constant feeling that you could lose them at any moment. Yeah, we know that with a narcissist, it always feels like they've got one foot in and one foot out the door. I always describe it this way. It's like she was pushing me away with one arm and pulling me in with another one. It's just like this all the time. You never really get close. You always feel that distance. And you develop, because of the many breakups, discards, and their behavior, this feeling that you could just flat lose this person tomorrow. Like poof, gone. All that time wasted, and they just walked away. Because they instill that in you. They don't ever want to be transparent and let you know where you stand. They're never going to come straight forward and be like, this is how I feel about you. This is how I feel about this relationship. This is where I see things going. What do you think? Never. They want you wondering about every single element of what they're doing and where you stand with them. They don't even really want you to know that they like you at all. I dealt with one for months, okay, in the process of determining what this person was, and I did. And the biggest thing I thought the entire time for months was, I still don't even know if this person likes me. It's like she kind of does and she kind of doesn't, and she just won't be transparent at all because they don't want you to know. Because if you don't know, it leaves you in confusion and you are more pliable. They can manipulate you when you're in confusion. They require that you sit in that kind of mindset. Because if you're in your right frame of mind, they can't get away with what they do. That's why they have to change you into something else and change and alter your mindset so they can get away with their absurdity. That feeling, though, that you could lose them at any moment is devastating. It just leaves you in the most uncertain place you've ever been in your life. And, funny, like they usually admit, they'll tell on themselves all the time. I remember one time I was with the narcissist, and she said out of nowhere, I mean, out of nowhere, isn't it funny how somebody can be the most important thing in your life for so long, and then it's like they don't even exist? Think about that one. Think about the psychological warfare and manipulation going on with that statement. Because, of course, my immediate thought and statement to her was, is that your way of saying that's what's going to happen to me? No, that's not what I meant. Oh, but it's exactly what she meant. It was her way of telling me, this is how it goes. The center of my life, my person. They're the center of my life, and then they don't even exist. And guess what? It's always been that way, and it's going to happen to you. It's going to happen to you too. That was a veiled way of telling me that. Or maybe the narcissist told you something like this that I heard. They'll bring up an ex to triangulate you and then say, but I don't think about that person. It's like I can just wipe my mind clean. I never think about him again. Oh, guys, the depths of the evil. Do you know what kind of wicked, disturbed person can build something up with someone for a year, two, and then wipe it clean like you don't even exist? Of course, that's not actually true because you do live in their mind and you have to. That's a different thing. But these are the things they'll tell you to cut, to degrade, to show you how little they value human life, how little they value human interaction. They don't genuinely care about anybody. Not genuinely. So all of this, guys, this wishy-washy pattern and the devaluation that they put you in, and this constant feeling of I don't know where we stand and is it over and where that puts you in literally a spiritual stupor. It's like a fog comes out of the sky and sets into your brain, and you literally just wander around like one of my friends and a great follower of this channel. He recently said um, something like this. He said, the stupor is looking right at something and not seeing it. Let me say that again. The stupor is looking right at something and not seeing it. Perfect, perfect description. And that's got double meanings. That is like going into, the grocery store, like I mentioned frequently. You went in for a jar of pickles and you're looking all over the store and you've walked by them 12 times and you're like, where? And finally you realize, oh, I walked right past that item over and over and over. I just didn't see it because you're not thinking clearly. The other thing is, of course, looking at the person in front of you, the narcissist, and not seeing them for who they really are. And that's what a stupor does. That's what a spiritual spell does. There's an old thing, guys. I thought about this. You ever heard of someone is love sick, or there's a love spell, and we think of like that's fairy tales and storybooks and things, but guys, actually, that's kind of what happens, isn't it? You become literally love sick. You are sick when you're with these people. And that gets to my point, my final point, and the most important thing here. All of this instills in you a feeling that you can't describe and you can't put into words. You ache. Every single part of you aches for that person. You literally live in torment, like your heart is being pulled out of your chest, almost like that person is magnetized. They have a giant magnetic aura that just pulls you toward them, and you can't describe why you're so drawn to an individual. Why? There are billions of people in the world. How many people do each of us interact with? They don't make you feel that way. The narcissist does. It is this lovesick, like, you just want to writhe around in agony feeling from how badly you miss this person. And it's because it's like a drug withdrawal. It's literally what it is. You get a hit every time you're around them. It hypes you up. You get that dopamine rush back. And then when you're away from them, you start to nick. You start to withdraw like an addict. That's what they did. That was the whole purpose of revving you up so high at the beginning and getting you so used to their good behavior so that when they started to pull it away, you'd become like a drug addict. No, no, baby. I need you. I need you. I need you. They know what they're doing. They're putting you under a spell. And they've done it before. And they brag about it. They know, they'll say this kind of stuff all the time. I know that I make people act out of character. I know I do things that make people act out of character. They might accuse you of cheating. Well, I know you wouldn't cheat, but I do make people act out of character. They know that they do. Or I know you can't concentrate on your work. You're always thinking about me. Because they're right. They've seen it before. They've done it to many people before you. They did it to you, and they'll do it to many people after you. And that's the endless cycle that the narcissist is on. It's casting spell after spell after spell after spell after spell. And preferably, they can get as many people at once under their spell as they can. And just breadcrumb each and every one of them. Hit them up every once in a while. Come back, go on a date, do a hookup, be in a short-term relationship, go back, cycle around. They don't ever want to cut anybody off unless they have to, because they want every bit of supply and options they can possibly have. And you know what else you get? That withdrawal leads to FOMO, fear of missing out, and it's a real thing. You sit and wonder. Now think about this, guys. In a normal relationship, just halfway normal, it didn't work out. Okay, whatever. Do you sit and think to yourself all the time, where are they? Who are they out there with? I wonder what they're doing. I wonder who they're texting right now. Are they on the phone with another guy? Where are they? Are they in their house? Are they in the bedroom doing something? Where are they? You don't think that way. You only think that way when it's a narcissist. That fear of missing out, guys, I'm telling you, you know it, it plagues you for so long afterwards. You just wonder who it is they're talking to and where they are and what they're doing. And everything they're doing's got to be the greatest thing, even though you know it's not. You know it's disgusting. It's depraved. Their lives are actually really boring. So, guys, this is what happens with a narcissist. If you went through this stuff, you can guarantee yourself you were with one. If it wasn't like this, hey, thanks for watching the channel. Hope you still do. But it wasn't a narcissist. Because this trauma bond is a real thing, and it's a spell. It's the narcissistic spell, and it is a nightmare to deal with. So, guys, drop comments below. Thanks for the new subscribers. Excited to hear from you guys. I will come at you with another one soon. Until then, God bless.